whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, do you deliberately sit down and think about these things, or you're always looking, you're always talking to people to come up with ideas? And then how is that process to turn an idea into something tangible that you can sell out in the world? That's a big.
So, yeah. So basically, I think my process is not very organized, not very structured. It's very organic because this is something I recently explored about the subject about myself. Maybe I'm built like that from a childhood, because my father always encouraged experimentation, constant experimentation. So I do remember that when I was 6 years old, I would simply dismantle whatever VCRs or TVs are there in the home. And he would not even say anything about it, because he thinks, okay, I'm trying to learn something. Typically, kids don't get a good treatment after this kind of thing. He bought me a computer when I was essentially 7 years old. So I think these things contributed to this development of this mindset of constantly opening up things and trying to fix things and trying to break things. So now, how does it work now? So whatever interaction I have, whatever business situation, or I would always be able to see that how this can be optimized or improved. Whatever is happening in front of me, how this can be improved. So it's a process. How can this process be more paperless, more transparent, less error prone, and all of those things. So this have been developed organically, naturally in me. So I don't deliberately put effort to actually think about it. So no formal brainstorming, actually, I would say. Second reason I would attribute it to, I think, exposure too much towards science fiction, where the whole world is all about automation, robotics, no humans required for anything. That kind of mindset. That is something which I developed in early childhood, that humans should not be doing manual jobs. They should not be doing repeated tasks.
Before we jump into this episode, please subscribe to this podcast, hit that notification bell if you're on YouTube, and after a listen, please give us a thumbs up, like, and share, if we've earned it. With your help, we can reach more people and deliver these valuable from the trenches lessons to those that need it. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another The Builders. Today, we are joined by Umar Rana. Welcome to the show, Umar.
Thank you very much for having me on this show. I'm very excited to talk about stuff we need to talk about.
We need to, yes.
Yeah.
So you are the founder of, what is it,
Alchemative.
How do you pronounce it? Alchemative.
Alchemative. Yeah, it came from an Arabic word, so yeah, it's slightly difficult.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, I had it before. I was practicing, and this is, it's the pressure of the show, going live. Well, not quite live. Anyway, you provide e-commerce solutions. Let's just put it that way. That's the easy way to put it, right?
Yeah.
So before we dig into what you do specifically, what we do here on The Builders is we like to talk about, learn about your story, get to know you a little bit, and your journey, how you ended up where you are doing the awesome things you're doing in the world, how who influenced you, what influenced you, why you decided to do business instead of work for somebody else, that kind of thing. So with that, I'm going to just kind of hand it over to you, and if you want to just tell your story.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So I did work for someone else, rather a lot of companies before actually starting my own business. My formal career essentially started in 2001. And that would put me around 22 years plus of technology experience, more or less. So first 13, 14 years is all about different jobs, primarily into ISPs, telecommunications. I spent about 9 years with Telenor in multiple roles, from contact center to enterprise IT to building networks and security and all of those things. By 2013, I was pretty fed up. I wanted to start something of my own, and that was the kind of person I was always. But I did experiment during this formal career phase. I consulted with PricewaterhouseCoopers for some time, PwC, Abacus Consulting, Interloop, which is one of one of the largest hosiery manufacturers in textile. So I did some consulting while I was working with different organizations. But by 2013, I decided, okay, enough is enough. So I need to start something. And fortunately,
What was sorry, I'm interrupting you, but what was what do they say, the camel that, or what broke the camel's back or something like that? I can't talk today. What was the thing that really, you're working for somebody else? What was that, the catalyst? Like, I can't work for this person anymore. I need to go out on my own now.
So basically, the primary trigger, I would say, I was always one of those people who would be, you could typically call a bit creative when it comes to solution design and problem solving, and experimenting beyond whatever is available. So Telenor in 2010 moved towards centralized management structure, which means everything was coming from Norway. So local operations were mainly the implementation and operations. So which essentially means we were not supposed to use a lot of brains. We were just supposed to implement whatever is coming in. And that's not something which is I'm not very comfortable with. This was one of the main reasons. And I always had a couple of ideas to work on. As I said, I've been consulting throughout, and I had that I need to do something kind of thing. In 2013, my father's business was growing very rapidly. He is into industrial automation, robotics. So he was building something for Adidas. Historically, Adidas manufactures soccer ball, which were hand stitched. But in 2013, Adidas decided that now no more hand stitch. We need robotic manufacturing for soccer balls. And somebody needs to develop that machine. So my father was basically working on that. He developed that.
Wow.
We got the project. So Pakistan actually got the project. So that was one of those, the second trigger. Okay, my father said, you need to join me because we need growth. And also now software is also part of our business because it's industrial automation, robotics, and all of that.
Right.
Anyways, I resigned and I joined him. Within 2 months, we realized we cannot work together. Father and son, it's not that easy. And so then I said, okay, he said, okay, you've been doing technology, IT, software, everything for the last 15 years. Why don't you start something of your own? So I said, okay, I was supposed to do business, so let's start something. So that is how.
So you couldn't work well together, but he still was supporting you though. He's like, you can do this. Just don't do it with me. Do your own thing.
Yeah, exactly. He kept on supporting me for next 2 years as well. So I started my company in 2014, Alchemative. Alchemative, the name is basically a combination of two words. It's from alchemy, the Arabic word, and innovative. So alchemy was historically the science of experimentation and elements. So I always wanted to have something that we should have the transformative effect on businesses. So that is where the word alchemy came from, and then
I like it.
Innovative. Anyways, so first 2 years was all about experimentation into everything. We started out as a software house. We tried to build virtual reality solutions, augmented reality, IoT based solutions. We worked on education management systems. We worked on sales and distribution management systems. So whatever was coming our way, we were just building it and delivering it. We also got into cloud computing and information security, became partner with Cyberom, now called Sofus, Amazon, and kept on delivering solutions here and there. But obviously, this is not something, I would not say this is a growth path, because if you are doing everything, you typically do not have the speciality. You don't become the specialist. Right. So we sort of stumbled upon an opportunity in a way that one of the largest retailers in the country, they approached us and they said, okay, we are stuck with 2 or 3 things. And we know that you have this ability of solving problems, difficult things. So why don't you try to work with us and solve these 2 or 3, 4 problems with our e-commerce system? It was easy for us. We were able to handle that. And that gave us the entry into the e-commerce market. So we were fortunate, I would say, because at that time, the e-commerce market was just starting out. This is 2016 I'm talking about. And the problem we solved was one of the largest retailers. So there's a word of mouth spread in the market. Okay, this new company, which can essentially solve technology problems. So one by one, different brands started contacting us. And without any sales and marketing team, within 3 years, we became the largest technology services company in e-commerce within Pakistan. During this period, we became Shopify partner. One of the things which contributed to our growth, rapid growth, was the ability to identify what kind of problems customer would face in future. So rather than waiting for the customer to tell us that we are facing this, we start developing that in advance. And we were able to provide that solution the moment they talk about it. So the moment we went into e-commerce, we realized that everybody would need e-commerce payment gateways. Without payment gateways, you cannot have e-commerce. Without logistics and fulfillment integrations, you cannot deliver the orders. Without real-time inventory and point of sale integrations into e-commerce websites, your inventory will always be out of control. So why don't we wait for them? Why, rather than waiting for the market, why don't we start building these things upfront? And when people start coming and inquiring, can you do this? We already done it. Look, we have the solution. Let's go. So that actually sort of gave us 3 or 4 USPs instantly, and we started rapidly growing. Second thing, at that time, market realized that, especially, I'm mainly right now talking about Pakistan because the initial journey was in Pakistan. Market realized that as retailers, they should not focus on technology, they should focus on their business. So technology should be somebody else's job. Previously, retailers were trying to build solution on open source using WooCommerce, Magento, and all of these things. We introduced Shopify to the market, in Pakistani market, and Shopify was a SaaS solution. And all of a sudden, everybody was okay. This solution does not go down. You don't have to manage it manually. It stays up and running, whatever the load is. So why don't we start migrating to this? And we became the reason for everyone to start migrating to Shopify. As of now, almost 95% of the Pakistani market is using Shopify. No more Magento,
Really?
no more WooCommerce. Anyways, so that kept on going. Yeah.
Well, that's actually one of my questions for you, because I know you're doing Shopify, and I know you're highly focused on Shopify, Shopify partner, whatever. And I found that fascinating. That was going to be one of my questions, like, why Shopify? And I think you just answered it. So, because obviously, like I come from, full transparency here, I'm a WordPress guy. I have worked in WordPress for many, many years, so I naturally get those things as you naturally get Shopify stuff. So here where I am in my world, it's all WordPress and with a dash of Shopify. But in your world, it's all Shopify. And so that was the main reason, though, is because it was more of a SaaS solution and it had better uptime, easier to manage.
Yeah, that's fundamentally the reason. Open source solution give you a lot of flexibility, but that kind of flexibility comes with you need to have the right kind of expertise. You need to have the right kind of team working on that. So you talk about WordPress. If you don't have the right developers with you, right team, right hosting platform, you cannot sell on it. I mean, you cannot keep it up and running. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shopify take care of all of this. So Shopify says, okay, you're a merchant. Your job is to sell and make your products and sell. Technology is our job. So I think that's one thing. I was always, as a business person, as a technology solutions person, I was always focused on building or working on solutions which simplifies customers' life, rather than giving them a solution which they have to constantly work around and think around and invest around and plan around. Because my thought process had always been that there are experts for everything, and the job should always be with the experts. You should do what you are expert of. Let me do what I am expert of. So that's how we build this whole business. That's my pitch to all my customers. Still, okay, you're a merchant, you're an e-commerce player, you're a retailer. Why are you so worried about technology? We are the tech guys. Yeah. Let us handle that. Give us your roadmap. Give us your 5-year plan, 3-year plan, whatever you want, wherever you want to see your brand in 5 years. Let us work with you to build the technology around it, be it Shopify or beyond Shopify, whatever. Anyways, by 2019, we were, as I was mentioning, we were the largest player in the market, and so something happened at that time. We started thinking about creating an omni-channel solution in September 2019, actually, because historically we were working with logistics, couriers, fulfillments, and everything. So we thought, okay, why don't we start creating a single solution where the whole omni-channel experience, I'm talking about the supply chain omni-channel. So we're talking about large merchants having maybe 100 shops across the country. And right at that time, they were delivering through their warehouses. So we said, why are you delivering through your warehouse? You have 100 shops, all that inventory across the country. So if you can deliver through your shops, You get the order on your website, but delivered through the nearest shop. You reduce the time, you reduce the logistics cost, you improve your inventory availability because the whole spread is out there. Not warehouse cannot have all the items. And we started building this solution. We piloted with one of the larger customers in December 2019. By Feb, this solution was reasonably stable. And March, Corona came. 2020, Corona came. Everybody needed that solution because all the shops are closed now. And the only way of selling something is online. So that solution rapidly started growing. We started getting a lot of customers. So we are one of those companies which actually, I would say, benefited from Corona, not the losing side. We were the winning side in that gaining side, I would say, in that scenario situation. Anyways, so by 2020 end, that solution became so big that during this 2020, we have to create a separate department around it, eventually separate CTO. So I decided to create a separate company for that particular solution. And we called it Ginkgo Retail. In 2021, January, February actually, we formally created the new company. One of the guy who was mainly working with me on throughout this journey, the commercial guy, I appointed him as a CEO and gave him equity, gave equity to the CTO, and this new team, new company started off. Similar experiment I was able to do with the marketing team in 2018 because I was never interested in marketing. I'm not a marketing guy. So what happened is our customers, because they were trusting us, so they said, okay, why don't you do marketing for us? We said, okay, we don't know marketing. How can we do marketing? No, we trust you. Why don't you build the team and you work with us? Okay, fine. We built that team. But within 1 year, I was not happy because customers was happy. I was not happy because we were delivering, but I always knew that I'm not a marketing guy. I cannot grow this. I cannot take it forward. I am not interested in marketing. Fortunately, I came across a person who was very good at performance marketing. He was at that time leading one of the largest brands as a performance marketing expert. And he wanted to start his own marketing company. I said, okay, perfect. I have a department. I want to close it. You want to start a company? Let's start a new company. So we created the company called edX360 in 2019. He became the CEO. He became the dominant shareholder as well. I became the smaller shareholder and the support guy who bring his network and everything and provide the support. edX, as of now, is the largest performance marketing agency in Pakistan, roughly about 100 plus employees and managing, I think, close to $1 million spend on an average in a month. So,
Wow.
So 3 companies by that time, somehow created and happened. In 2021, I also somehow. So I mean, there was never this deliberate attempt to have this because I was never a business person by background. I was never this finance or marketing guy. It was all organic. Okay, we have a solution. Let's make it big. It's so big. Let's make it a company. So just like that.
Oh, I love that. And we're going to dig into that. I'm just going to let you tell your full story because I want to talk.
I'm talk
about experiments. Experiment. Yeah. No, you can take all the time you want. But I have that in my head. I'm like, how you're doing this is what's really amazing. So go ahead.
So 2021, I realized that while we are working in Pakistan, we are the largest player in Pakistan across all marketing, everything e-commerce. But Pakistan have a weak economy in general, and dollar rupee parity is not good as well. So why don't we start? And everybody needs the same skill set around the globe. It's not that this skill set is only needed in Pakistan. So I registered the company in UAE, Dubai, and the second branch of Alchemative. And from there, we started working globally. When we moved to UAE, obviously, we started getting projects everywhere, from UK, from US, from almost 8 or 9 different countries. From Germany, from Australia. So we started delivering Shopify projects. One more thing happened in UAE. By the way, by that time we did not have the organized marketing and sales team. It's all word of mouth growth so far. But we did realize that okay, now we are not in Pakistan and nobody knows us here, so we need to have some kind of marketing team. So we started building that team in 2022, actually 2023 rather. Anyways, our success in UAE also came from, I would say, the same word of mouth. Couple of large entities in UAE contacted Shopify that we have a very large-scale Shopify project with us, which is a GCC region project. And we want a partner who's capable of delivering this level of project. Shopify said, okay, we have a partner who's now in Dubai. You can talk to them. And that is where our journey for UAE automatically started without, again, marketing and sales, organically getting a project from Shopify. And that's the still way we are growing in that direction. I took a obviously not all the decisions are right, and I think to some extent an impulsive decision maker, too quick sometimes. So I took a decision to create another company in 2022 because I was not very happy doing e-commerce anymore. I wanted to do products only. I don't want to do services at that time. So I said, okay, why don't I create a separate entity, which is a services entity, and give all this existing services business to that entity, and I can only focus on product building. So 22, we created that company, Epinovus. We gave all the services team to them, handed over all the customers. I met all the customers, informed them, okay, I'm no more into services. This is my new company. I am the chairman of this company, but there is a management team. They will run your business. I'm going to focus on building more products for you. So when we were free in 2022, so we started creating a payment mediation platform because that is something I thought is required by the global markets. So what is a payment mediation platform? It's a platform where on one side you have technology and the other side you have banking systems and PSPs and all those things. And most of the customers right now, what happens is when they build a website or Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, whatever, they go to bank and they say, okay, we have this now website, we need a merchant account. And so we need to get Visa and MasterCard transacted and digital payments. Banks typically give them an API document. Okay, this is an API document. Go ahead, integrate into your website and start taking payments. So what we did is we created that platform that now no bank or no customer have to go to bank because there's one application you install and all the banks are pre-integrated. So that is for Shopify. Obviously, we started out with Shopify. So that's called UnumPay. When we created it, we thought it is the need of the market.
I feel like I've seen that. I've seen that before.
Yeah, so,
it's possible.
So we thought maybe we're creating something so it can grow, but we were lucky again. Within 2 months, we got 600 merchants on board on that platform again because there was no other solution at that time. So that solution is still going strong. It's right now in 16 different countries because Shopify payment system is not available other than a couple of Western European, American market, Canadian, and Japan. That's it. Rest of the world does not have Shopify payment solution. That is where we come in. So we have this UnumPay, which is now, by the way, rated as the second highest app in the Shopify ecosystem globally in the payment system.
Good job.
So
awesome.
Again, so that solution is still going on. By 23, I realized that the company I created, the services company, is not working out. Because the management team somehow were not groomed enough, not mature enough, and maybe they got bigger responsibility which they were not prepared for. So I have to dissolve that company and inform all of the customers, okay, this project failed, this company failed, now you're again back to Alchemative. Alchemative is going to serve you. So yeah, that's it. Now we are just continuing the journey. So we are trying to expand globally. Still working on Shopify, but we have a lot of other solutions, just like UnumPay. We have our own checkout solution. We have our own logistics, and so on and so forth. So far, end of journey, I would say.
That's a great journey. Holy smokes. I feel like I do a lot of stuff sometimes, but then I hear somebody like you, and I'm not doing enough. I have to do more experimenting. And I'm also like, again, there's some parallels, for me, like I'm doing services, but I'm also selling products. I'm creating, WordPress stuff. So, okay. Amazing story. I love every bit of it. And there's a lot to dig into. What am I going to dig into? There's one thing particularly, that I'm hearing from you. You're like the prime example of what an entrepreneur is. Just somebody that has a lot of passion, energy to do stuff in the world, to solve problems, and to identify problems out there, and build solutions around those problems. And that seems like that's something at your core. Like you're always looking for that next solution. You're trying to anticipate what people, even before people even know they have this problem, you're going to have the solution ready for them, which is incredible. And I'm always interested in that. Like how, because I have a lot of ideas. I have a brainstorming board where I just drop ideas, and someday maybe I'll get to them. Like you talk about experiments, you talk about, I think there's probably some lean in there. There's this kind of approach to business that you have, where you're taking massive action. You're trying a lot of things. You're maybe having brainstorming sessions, or you're just paying attention to what's happening in the world. What does that look like for you? Like on whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, do you deliberately sit down and think about these things, or you're always looking, you're always talking to people to come up with ideas, and then how is that process to turn an idea into something tangible that you can sell out in the world? That's a big.
So yeah. So basically, I think my process is not very organized, not very structured. It's very organic because this is something I recently explored about the subject about myself. Maybe I'm built like that from my childhood, because my father always encouraged experimentation, constant experimentation. So I do remember that when I was 6 years old, I would simply dismantle whatever VCRs or TVs are there in the home. And he would not even say anything about it, because he thinks, okay, I'm trying to learn something. Typically, kids don't get a good treatment after this kind of thing. He bought me a computer when I was essentially 7 years old. So I think these things contributed to this development of this mindset of constantly opening up things and trying to fix things and trying to break things. So now, how does it work now? So whatever interaction I have, whatever business situation, or I would always be able to see that how this can be optimized or improved. Whatever is happening in front of me, how this can be improved. So it's a process. How can this process be more paperless, more transparent, less error prone, and all of those things. So this have been developed organically, naturally in me. So I don't deliberately put effort to actually think about it. So no formal brainstorming, actually, I would say. Second reason I would attribute it to, I think, exposure too much towards science fiction, where the whole world is all about automation, robotics, no humans required for anything. That kind of mindset. That is something which I developed in early childhood, that humans should not be doing manual jobs. They should not be doing repeated tasks, because I always hated repeated tasks. I always hated doing my homework, school homework, because they're mostly repeated tasks. Anyways, so I think this is more of a part of personality rather than something I developed over a period of time. Okay, now what's the next step? So once I identify, okay, this is something we can change, this is something we can improve, we can build. Obviously, the next step is, now I think, okay, should we do it or not? Because there are too many problems everywhere. You cannot solve all the problems. So do we have the resources to do that? Do we have the market to do that? Do we have access to the right customers, potentially right customer who can test this product with us when we build the first prototype? That's the second stage, I would say, after hitting the idea. If I'm able to identify, say, even one customer who would be ready to work with me on that idea or test that idea, then we would start the experiment. I will gather my development team, or maybe mainly my CTO. I will say, okay, this is what I was thinking. This is the idea. This is how it should work. This is how it should solve the problem. And then he obviously digs in as well. He's a techie, so we start brainstorming, discussing 1, 2, 3 days, just on phone calls. No formal meetings, night, day, whatever, message send, and all that informal method. And in a few days, we will reach to a point. Okay, yes, this is something we need to build now. And then we start building. Just two of us, we start building. We then propose or pitch to the first customer. If they say yes, we can experiment with that. Then we get the other team members engaged. Okay, now we need a designer. Now we need this. Now we need that. Yeah. Now we need a name for this product and a logo and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. It's a very messy process. It's just kind of, you got an idea and you're just kind of start building something, and you see what happens, and as you're building it, you're coming up with more ideas, or you're trying to validate this through just conversations, and you try to find that first customer. I remember doing this for insurance. So I have an insurance background, like a decade. I was an insurance agent, had an insurance agency with a partner, and I had my own. And so I had this idea a year or two ago that, well, I should try to see if I should go into this market and this vertical, make it a vertical, and go in and see if I can, because I have the web design development, I could build stuff for the insurance side of things. And that's kind of how it evolved, though. It was just this kind of idea. I was talking to somebody, one of my partners actually, another agency, and he's like, "Why aren't you doing this?" But it got to a point where we kind of experimented. We kind of, for me, it's like build the website, figure out what the messaging is, and what we're going to actually offer and do for them specifically, what's unique, and then offer it to that first potential customer and see where it goes. I ended up, but this is an example of, I wouldn't call it a failure, because we actually decided to go in other directions because they're more lucrative at the time, and we may circle back to insurance. But we learned a lot from that. It was something that that just came, it just kind of, I just kept getting people to work on it. Like my designer, like, design it, and then let's develop it and let's keep notching it up. But that sounds like how you're kind of approaching it as well. And so you're doing an experiment. How would you define an experiment? What is an experiment? Sometimes just really small, or is it like fully fleshed out at some point?
Typically, it's a small one. The starting point is always a very basic R&D level prototype, I would say. And once we have that, and then we would take it to our customer. Okay, this is, for example, just like, so let's talk about the payment gateway. So when we created this, we did not all out build the whole system. We just build one or two integrations and ask the customer, would you be ready to pay for this if you have this pre-installed and you just have to pay this minor subscription fee? And okay, yes, we can. Okay, how about if we build one more report into it? What is your problem? So you have reconciliation problem with the bank? Okay, let's build us the reconciliation report in it. You want to refund? Okay, let's try to build the refund functionality into it. Okay, sometimes you have to take advance payments. Okay, let's try to build the advance payment. So yeah, I think the lean methodology. Yeah, you keep on getting the feedback and you improving the product.
Yeah, that's how I'm approaching my plugins too. Like I can't anticipate what everyone's going to need, and so we got to define like what we build. What's the minimum we build, and let's build that, get it in people's hands, and then when they need something, they'll let us know. It's like, it would be really nice to have this, or we can, poll them or whatever. Very cool. Yeah, I see that. I kind of, the way I approach business too, it's a little messy, especially in the beginning. Like when you first started out, it sounds like you were taking whatever you could take and, whatever project you could, whatever would come your way. We're doing this, we're doing that. And then at some point you identified something like, that was e-commerce, I think, for you, right? Like, this is what we should be doing. Yeah. We've been doing all this stuff. We got a lot of good experience, made some money, maybe along the way, hopefully. But whoa, this has real potential. This is something I can get excited about. And it just kind of comes out of that, right? Just taking action. Yeah, I think more people need to take action.
I think this, if we can define this approach, is basically action-oriented approach. You're very right on that. It's less brainstorming, less thinking, which sometimes have its own problems because you invest instantly. The moment you take action, you start investing in a way, and it could turn out to be not an idea worth pursuing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. There's risk involved, but right. You can have lots of ideas. You got to decide, like you said. You got to decide which one seems to have the most potential, and you're going to invest in it. When I have a designer developer working on these plugins or whatever we're working on, some harebrained idea that Matt has, Matt's paying for that person to do those things. So that's cool. I want to actually pivot a little bit here. So I want to talk a little bit about AI. So how we're talking about the messy world of business and ideas and all this. There's a lot going on with AI. And I'm curious of what your take is on that and how it's impacting what you're doing and your customers, your clients. how is that going?
Yeah. So for us within e-commerce, we are able to include, I would say, small use cases here and there. For example, when it comes to logistics, so we are able to optimize routes for delivery. We are able to give our customers recommendation of the particular courier company. So, for example, a large brand would always have 4 to 5 courier companies in contract with them. But our system can tell them, okay, if you have an order for this city and this area, this courier company might be the best one in this situation because of their successful deliveries in this area, because of their rate, because of their speed, and all of those things. So one of the use cases. And then same system can actually give you some kind of demand prediction as well, because you have historical data in the system, and the system can tell you, okay, this is now November we have 2 sales, and based on historical 2 years data, most probably this kind of volume is expected. So you should upgrade your website or inform Shopify that we are expecting 100 to 200,000 users on 11/11 because last time it happened, or the trend is in that direction. You need to inform the banks, okay, we are expecting a couple of millions of transactions in a very short period of time. So inform us as a technology company, okay, we are using your 4 plugins. Kindly upgrade their servers if you really need to, because we are going to. So these kind of things, they are there. Then there are towards the chat GPT, or I would say the conversation AI right now. Everywhere is conversation AI. So we've been experimenting with that in terms of a lot of customers, especially women, they don't come on the website to place order. They are more, it's easier for them to have a conversation with somebody on the other side. So just open up WhatsApp or something, any messenger, and they say, okay, I want to buy these shoes. What's the price of these shoes? Do you have other colors? Do you have this size? So they're doing it on conversation. And then the agent typically would have to take that conversation, finalize it, and then put an actual manual order in the system somewhere. What we did is we integrated obviously ChatGPT with this, and in that case, that conversation happened automatically without any human intervention. ChatGPT connected with with the APIs to our e-commerce system, have all the information of the products and prices and variants and colors and everything, give the recommendation as well, lock the order, put it in Shopify automatically. So that's one example of conversation commerce we experimented and worked with. So another one is we would call it a stylist, an AI stylist. So, for example, you want to go to a party and you say, yeah, I have this dark navy blue shirt and that's it. And 2 days, I have to attend a birthday party in the evening. So I like this brand, say Hugo Boss or something. I go on their website and there's a chat bot. And I talk to it. Okay, this is the shirt I have. I upload the picture of my shirt. This is the shirt I have. Recommend from your inventory or your products the right pants and shoes and jacket, whatever. And yeah, and this is my dimensions. This is my size.
I need that. I need that. Right now, I have to rely on my wife that I look good. My stuff that I put on looks good together.
Yeah,
I never match my shirt with my shorts or my pants.
Anyway, so these are the kind of experiments we're doing. Ironically, when my father said, "Okay, you do whatever you want. You need to start your own company now," the very first thing I wanted to build was a recruitment engine, an AI machine learning based recruitment engine in 2014. But we never had the funds to build it because when I documented it, what I need to build, so I identified about 500 different parameters regarding a human being, which can be quantified in a recruitment system, which means you won't require humans to hire someone. The machine would do it, and machine would do the best job, obviously. I needed a couple of PhDs in psychology and human behavior and all that to basically formulate that solution. And I did not have the funds to do it, so we never did that. We never built that product actually. But the
recruitment system?
Yeah, it's a recruitment engine. Yeah, I would say recruitment engine.
Recruitment engine.
And okay. we never able to build. So in a way, the very first idea for Alchemative was an AI-based, machine learning-based idea in 2014. But we still didn't get time to do it. Now we have the funds and resources, but we don't have the time.
Right, that's how it always is. Awesome. Well, see, the thing about what I'm hearing from all of that, and again, all these little kind of micro ideas and the ways it's kind of helping businesses in little ways. I think the way the rhetoric is and how people talk about AI and it's taking over and it's going to take all our jobs and everything. It's going to, even from a web development perspective, it's just going to build the website for you. Done. You just push a button. It's going to just handle it all for you. You don't even have it, it'll just know what you want. But, from a business perspective, I think it's the same way in my agency and how we're implementing AI into what we do every day. I just had one of my developers send me a ChatGPT screenshot. It's like, this is what ChatGPT says. But anyway, it's more about solving those little problems in your business, like one by one, piece by piece. It's not like taking over your whole business or taking over a whole role. It's letting you do more and, be able to be more efficient and deliver. I love the one with the conversation commerce, where it can just talk to somebody and then it creates the order and everything for you instead of having somebody manually enter all that stuff. Those are really good ideas. Love that. But that's what I'm hearing though. Do you look at that as kind of, there isn't going to be like just one big solution that solves all your problems. It's all these, you just find the little micro solutions and that can help you do more in your business or do better.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is not just about AI. If you look at the human history and human civilization in general, technology had always been like this. It never gives you one big comprehensive solution for everything. It gives you bits and pieces, and then we humans keep on attaching those bits and pieces and start creating bigger and bigger and bigger things over a period of time, till the time it actually gets out of hand. Yeah. So this is that's the only fear there, that we keep on building to a point that eventually we even cannot control it ourselves. That's the only fear that is there. I'm an AI optimist in general. I would say, when I say optimist, it's not about that I believe that AI will create more opportunities. Yes, in that sense, I am on the side where I think there will be mass unemployment. There will be. And there is a reason for that. This had been happening throughout human history. When you have industrial age, you have a lot of people who are manual workers, they were out of job. When you have cars, then you have a lot of people who were running those carts and everything. So technology always does that. It displaces. But historically, there was one thing which is very, I would say, helping humans in a say, I would say. Every new technology required decades or sometimes centuries to upgrade and adapt. And humans would have generations to adapt to it. So if we say wheel took maybe centuries to spread around. Even industrial age. Industrial age took almost 100 years to basically reach everywhere. And still there are places in the world where there is no industry. Internet even took more than maybe 15 to 20 years to reach everyone on the planet. But AI is a different story now because of social media and because of the communication which is already established. So there's a book by Carl Schwab, The Fourth Industrial Revolution. He makes this case in that the problem with the current rate of change, I think the book is future is fast and it's faster than you think, something like that. So the problem with the current rate of change is we do not have generations. We essentially don't have our own lifespan. We cannot predict that what will happen next year. That's the main problem.
Right.
And adoption is very difficult within the same generation, typically. That's the reason I believe there will be mass unemployment.
Disruption, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, it's taking jobs that I think when people predicted what kind of jobs they would take, like AI and robotics and all this stuff, it was more of the manual labors, and that would all come first, but it's actually taking more of the professional jobs and more of the people behind the desk jobs that it's actually doing better with that. One thing you said here too is, so you had said at one point where, your solutions for like e-commerce businesses, the e-commerce business itself, the marketing teams and all that, they should be doing what they do best and what they need to be doing, going out and selling and growing their business, growing their teams, and focusing on developing products and all this. You take care of the tech. And I feel like on some level, AI is kind of doing the same thing for us. Like there's things that AI does for me from a content perspective, even from a coding perspective periodically, where it's doing things that I don't need to be doing. So if it can do it for me, I can be focused on the more important things.
Yeah.
And I think, so that's the first wave until it eventually just replaces me. And then, but I love the optimistic view though. It certainly could go wrong, and it's certainly going to be, like you said, you made a good point. It's happening quick. It's happening very, very quick. Even just looking back 2 years, how different things were.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we didn't even know what ChatGPT was 2 years ago, most of us.
Yes, exactly.
Very interesting. Yes. I would love to dig more into AI, but we could be here all day. I might have to have you back to this is a great conversation. And you have so much experience and so many stories to tell, I'm sure. So we could definitely have you back again someday. I would love to have you. But anyway, I tell everybody that, so you're not special. But so what do you do? So what do you do today specifically? Who is your kind of, people say target market, but who do you like to serve? Like what are the big ideas you're working on? What is your ideal customer, client? Who do you want to work with?
Yeah. So anyone who's into retail and considering or already established as a digital retailer, which means e-commerce. So because e-commerce is now more than just a website, it's digital commerce actually. So you're talking about mobile as a channel, you're talking about omni-channel into play. And when we talk about omni-channel, it's not just about supply chain omni-channel. We're talking about communication omni-channel, because customer wants, okay, I communicated with your team from Facebook, but I want the same experience when I'm in the store. So you're essentially talking about communication omni-channel, supply chain omni-channel, and then more and more stores are not receiving traffic, footfall, because people are shopping online, which means those stores need to be converted into some experience platforms, which means we're talking about augmented reality, virtual reality. So in a sense, anyone who wants to sell online is potentially our customer. But considering our size of the company and the size of the market we are addressing, obviously a very small startup might not be very comfortable working with us, because they need a very different kind of handholding, which larger entities like us are not very good at doing, because we expect a lot of process on both sides.
Right.
We have project management, so they should also have a project manager. They should at least have a brand manager. And startup never have a brand manager, because the CEO is everything. So maybe a small to medium enterprise and eventually a large enterprise is our basically ideal customer. So companies like all these global brands, Nike, Adidas, all these companies can be potentially our customer, because this is the kind of customer we are serving right now.
Yeah, and somebody that cares about technology and doing innovative things and improving what they. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so if somebody wants to find you on the World Wide Web, obviously they can go to, see if I can say it, Alchemative.
Alchemative.com.
Yeah. I got it. .com. And do you hang out on the World Wide Web anywhere? Are you a LinkedIn guy, or are you out there anywhere that somebody can get in touch with you, message you?
Yeah, I'm very active on LinkedIn. Recently, because we had this marketing team, and that marketing team made sure that I'm very active everywhere. So now I'm active on Instagram,
Nice.
I'm active on TikTok, I'm active on Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere essentially.
Great.
So it's very easy
Awesome.
to find me right now. Yeah.
Good. I'll see you on LinkedIn. That's like my favorite hangout. So I'm in other places, but LinkedIn's awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Umar. It's been an amazing episode. I love your story. There's so many things I would love to dig more into, like the whole conversational situation, commerce. That in itself seems like a big topic. I'm going to have you back someday. We're going to do it. All right.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already and give us a thumbs up if we deserve it. Now a word from our sponsor, my agency, Unified Web Design. We build custom websites, features, we maintain websites, we work with agencies to fulfill their web design and development needs, and more. If you're interested in our services or are looking for an agency to work with as a partner to build awesome sites for your clients, feel free to reach out to me at unifiedwebdesign.com. There's a handy contact me link at the top. Fill out that form and it will open a ticket, and that ticket will find its way to me. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time.